Hey guys, it's Rage. How's it going? Today we're going to be doing a Conquest guide of Antirush versus archers and mage setups. And basically this emphasizes on counting spaces, which is an essential part of the game. Also, I want to bring to your attention that maybe not all the variations of this game are going to be covered. Just know that Conquest also requires adaptation to different scenarios. So I hope you guys enjoy. Without further ado, let's get started. Alrighty guys, so as you can see, we have 5 scouts, 2 halberds, a foot soldier, and 2 champions, and they have 4 archers, 3 mages, and 2 scouts. Now, keep in mind guys, this video is to emphasize on counting spaces. If you can count spaces, you can easily beat archer and mage setups for the most part. So, let's get the game started here. Let's see what our opponent does. So, our opponent first starts with archer up 3. They started first, so they're trying to take control of the center of the board with their archer. This is a reasonable move, so let's see how we should respond here. So as you can see, we're counting spaces. So basically, you have to be 10 spaces away to be safely away from an archer. So count 10 spaces, be sure to count that, and then execute your moves. So as you can see, my scout is going to be 10 spaces away from the archer. Keep in mind, you want to kind of keep it balanced as you see here, but look, 3, 6, 9, 10. So my scout is 10 spaces away. This is how you want to play against archer and mage setups. And now, as you can see, they cannot move up 3, because if they do, your scout can go up and take their archer. This is kind of what you don't want to see in a game. If you're using archers and mages, that is. It's really good if you're using scouts, but yeah. So, in a game, logically, they'll normally move up 2. So you can just move back 2. And if they move up 2 again, well, that just means you'll have charge next turn. As you can see, this is one of the scenarios that could happen. This is perfectly fine, guys. You can simply take out their archer and KO them. Now, another continuation that you could try and use Battle Cry to force them to try and use Battle Cry back. Now, if they don't use Battle Cry back and use Chastise, this is another continuation you could have. Alright. So they move their archer forward, hit you, and then use Chastise. Now you can move the other scout up 6, guys. And now this becomes a little bit interesting. You're kind of overwhelming them a little bit with 2 attackers. And since their scout is already up, now you can move your scout forward and kill them and then use stoicism. And now, as you can see, you're attacking those pieces all over the board, and you just use Chastise. And they just use Chastise, so they can't Chastise you back. So that is an excellent way to continue a game. If they use BC, then they'll just be losing their battle cry, and that's totally fine. Alright, so back to the game. Let's see this. Alright, if your opponent plays scout up 6 first, instead of moving their archers and mages, start with foot soldier up 4. This puts their scout under pressure, which is obviously a good thing. And as you can see, they're going to be forced to move back a little bit. Now, I suggest you only move up 2, actually, just to be out of range of the mage, because you don't want to get hit by the mage and Chastise in this point in time. And now, see, you're still pressuring the scout, so it'll still need to move back, but you're out of range of the mage, so they can't really hit you in Chastise. Now here, you can simply charge, and now you can kill another piece. Now here, I highly recommend you use another command, just because they're going to be low on command points. Since they'll be at like 75 command points this next turn, I would highly recommend using another command, just so you can kill more pieces out. So as you can see, I use stoicism on my foot soldier. This is totally fine. Now, as you can see, they're only at 25 command points right now, and they're going to be 50 next turn, so they're not going to be able to kill you. And here I'm just making a random move. You don't have to play that, that's just up to you, but they can't kill me, see, because they don't have battle cry yet. Next turn they will have battle cry, but still we get to kill another piece. And you can choose whatever piece you want, archers or mages, either one is fine. And now I'm going to personally use Battlecry now, just to make sure they can't use it anymore. So they're going to be forced to use Battlecry as well, unless they want to lose another piece. But as you can see, I won a bunch of foot soldiers, or like 2 archers and mages with my 1 foot soldier with that opening. Now, as you can see, I need to be careful of counting spaces here, guys. I had to move back because they might charge me with an archer or mage, and you kind of have to predict that. So I'm being 13 spaces away to be sure to be out of their range. Alright, so let's continue this again. If you start first, guys, always start with scout up 5. The reason for this is kind of to limit the archer and mage movement. And basically what I mean by that is now they can no longer move up the full 3. As you saw before, if they moved up 3, you could just take their archer. Now if they move up 2, you can simply move your scout back 2, as you're seeing in this guide. So basically if they keep moving up 2, then you can just keep moving back 2, and eventually you'll have charge before they do. And even if they charge, guys, you can just retaliate by capturing their archer with your charge. So it doesn't really matter, and if they advance a scout up, it doesn't bother you. You still kill a scout, and so that's pretty nice. Now, if you use Battlecry again as an example of what'll happen here, this time I might be a little bit different because you started second, and this is where it might not be recommended. So they chastised your scout, and you use your scout up there. Now, what happens here is a little bit different than before. Now they take your scout, and then they use vigilance on their scout. Now see, stoicism no longer works fully because of this attack method. Because your scout was then weakened to 400 HP with the vigilance, and then you were hit by the mage with Battlecry. And see, that's where it kind of becomes less recommended to use a command. Now, another scenario. Let's see what happens here. Alright, so they play archer up 3. As you can see, you play scout up 2. This is the standard opening. I'm aligning my scout with the archer, basically to make sure he can't outmaneuver me in any way possible. And now he plays scout up 5. At least I think that's... No, that might be scout up 6, actually. Yeah, that's scout up 6. So basically, they played scout up 6. And instead of moving my foot soldier up, we've already developed some pieces. So I'm just going to ignore their scout and move 2 scouts up. Now, it is a little bit in their favor, guys, to trade off scouts, but that's totally fine. Instead of recapturing their scout, though, I'm going to actually charge and kill their archer. And be sure to keep out of range of the scout that killed your scout previously. Just so they can't move back and retaliate. So basically what happens now is they move an archer up and kill my scout, and now I can use my foot soldier to kill theirs. Now, at this point in time, they're probably at 150 command points. But that's totally fine. As you can see, I've moved my foot soldier up just out of range of their archer and mage. So they're going to have to waste time pushing it back, or as you can see in this video, they'll use Battlecry and kill my foot soldier. Now, this is totally fine. I'm going to show you a continuation that I would do. After your opponent uses Battlecry, guys, they have a certain cooldown. So I would always suggest moving your champion up. Unless your champion is the one that gets weakened, then it can be different. But so I moved my champion up 4 and chastised him, and he moved his scout up 4. Now here, I'm going to move my halberd up. Now basically what this does is, if he hits my champion, he's going to be in range of my halberd with his archer. So he can no longer hit me. See, as you can see, my halberd can reach him. Because a halberd can reach up to 7 spaces. And he only has a range of 6. So he has to be a space out of range to be out of range of my halberd. And he can't hit my halberd and use chastise, or use vigilance rather, obviously, because that won't work necessarily. Now, as you can see, I decided to develop my halberd further up the board, basically putting pressure on his archer, forcing him to move back again. And as you can see, the mage cannot kill. I was very careful to make sure the mage could not kill my archer, or my halberd, because you don't want your halberd dying like that to a mage that easily. So basically, I used charge and Battlecry on my halberd, and then he moved forward and used chastise with his mage, trying to put pressure on my champion. I moved my champion back and used stoicism on my halberd. And as you can see, I haven't really used my scouts very much in this game. But that's totally fine, guys. You don't necessarily need to use your scouts if you don't have to. See, sometimes it's better to take them out with these pieces so you have more scouts left over in the end game, so you can kind of just mollywop them. So see, as you can see, they have two archers and two mages. Overall 4 altogether now. And as you can see, they're kind of pushed down the board further now. And my halberd did die, but it did take out like 2 archers, or 2 mages. I'm not sure what I took out, actually, to be honest. But as you can see, I've taken out a lot of pieces with just my foot soldiers and my halberds. Now here, I'm making sure to count spaces. Basically, what I'm doing here is keeping out of range of the mage's charge. You have to be 13 spaces away to avoid a charging mage or archer, guys. So always be sure to count spaces. Don't make reckless moves, especially when you use charge and battle cry. Basically, you need to be defensive. And as you can see, he was so far down the board, guys, that now I'm basically almost ready to basically use my commands. Now, basically what I did here was I chastised him to stop him from moving so he couldn't use charge. And here he decided to go ahead and use vigilance, and this is totally fine, guys. So as you can see, it forces me to use charge and battle cry, but I don't really mind that because I'm still killing another piece, and that's totally fine to me. So I charge and battle cry and kill the mage. Don't mind that one bit. Another idea is just to let him attack you, end your turn. But I just kind of wanted to kill him. Either way, it's pretty much winning for me. So as you can see, he has 4 units altogether left, and I have 5. And my units have a lot more HP, and I have 2 scouts left that can charge and kill him eventually. So here, as you can see, he uses charge and battle cry to weaken my champion. Now this is totally fine, guys. I don't mind this one bit. Now, here, it's always important that you recapture with your champion, because you have to keep in mind the mage is 300 HP. So although your champion's weakened, that's totally fine. You don't have to worry about your champion too much. And so as you can see, I killed the mage with my champion. And now they decided to move Archer up 3. And now with this, basically, guys, you have to be a little bit careful. Some people might want to move their champion back. I honestly didn't want to. I just wanted to limit them with my scout. Basically saying, you're not going to be able to reach my champion in one stride. You're going to have to move up 2 and then up a few more. And that's always nice. So here he decides to splinter my champion and my scout. This is, once again, totally fine, guys. I don't mind this. Now, here he actually made a mistake, but we're going to pretend that it's realistic. As you can see, the diagonal space is blocked off by the archer, so his archer cannot actually move up 3 and hit my scout. But we're going to pretend that he can. So here we're going to use stoicism and chastise. And what this is basically doing, guys, is we have 1 turn till charge in BC. So now, if they only chastise back, and since they've used vigilance, you're going to see what's going to happen. It's going to be pretty devastating for them. So they chastise back, and they do use vigilance on their archer and mage. But this is totally fine because we have battle cry. But as you can see, their archer is in range of my scout, my other scout. And now I can just kill them. And now, as you can see, there's no escape, really, to this scenario. They'll try and run into the corner. They can't do anything. They just used all their commands. And now it's game over. As you can see, I won by a good amount. Yeah. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed. Please like the video and comment down below of what you want to see next. Have a nice day. See ya.